I'm listening to the Splinter Cell soundtrack today. We got a lot to do. The timetable is against us. So, yeah, we got a lot to do. Timetable's against us. I always end up putting myself in this situation. But this is where I get the most done. So I'm Hobbs, and you're watching F***ing H-Mods, baby! There. This is what happens.
Husband, in honor of our marriage, I give you a regiment of battle mechs and the means to support them in perpetuity.
My love, in honor of our marriage, I give you a vast prize. The Capellan Confederation.
Alright, assholes, it's your old pal Hobbs. Here to tell you about Shadow of the Alliance. Follow the journey of Mateo Bjerregaard, a young mech warrior in the service of the Taurian Concordat. In the wake of the Steiner-Davion wedding, Laconis III has just been invaded by Davion forces hoping to bang on Maximilian Liao's back door. Bjerregaard must fight to save his team, the woman he loves, and his people. Want to get in on it? You can! Donate bits to become a character in the book and help save Laconis III. Every bit helps this book become better and better looking to Catalyst because the goal is to make enough to commission artwork, including a cover and artist drawings inside, like the old days. Be a part of the legend of the Laconis Wolverines. Donate today. It will go to a good cause.
So recap last week. We got these traced. This is going to be completed kind of and put on this side on the panel. There's another thing that's going to go on the front panel. That's done. So off camera, I have done the following. I have applied 3 coats of paint, 3 coats of lead belcher to the power supply shroud. So barring any scratching, this is ready to go. I have completed and painted the fan bracket, which is going to go here. This is something I made myself. And then is a minor thing. This is going to go on the front panel. That's painted as well. And then this is the USB hub. What I've done is I cut a good sized chunk off of it because it's like that big. And so I cut all of it off. I had hopes of using it as a top enclosure, but I really don't think we're going to have the room because the fans are going to be right there. But this is going to go on the bottom, right about there. And I've painted it. And what I did was there's this tiny little, it kind of comes down like that, but I've bent it up because what I did was in cutting the space for in cutting this out for the front, here I'll show you. I cut the space out for this. In doing so, I sort of went all the way up here, which is fine. That's what I wanted to do. And it gave me a little bit more room than I was anticipating. But what I did was I bent that upward and I hammered the hell out of it. So when it goes in like that, you won't even know. Oh God, that looks so fucking good. When I went outside and painted it, I did not know it was going to look this good. So it looks that good. And then it will go in here. I've notched it out for the little catch right here. As you can see, the wires are all covered and stuff. That's because this is about to get painted. So this is where the stuff starts to happen. So that's how it's going to go in like that. I'm going to glue it and it's going to come out with the front panel. That's just how it's going to have to happen. Fine with me. I'm going to cut that section out. And I think what I'm going to have to do is leave these 2 rivets alone so that they don't get in the way of me mounting this. That's fine as well. This thing is going to be, there's 2 rivets over here. I can put another rivet over here, and there's like 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. The bottom one can stay because I need sort of a riser. God, this is filthy. I haven't even cleaned this yet. So there's a speaker in here like the old days. We're keeping that, but what we're going to do is we're going to move it back about 2 inches to make way for the fan bracket and the USB hub. Stuff doing is happening. So this is ready to get painted. This is ready to get painted. The power supply shroud has to get accents and stuff, which I'll do. This is done. And this is done and ready to be applied to the front panel. I'm really excited with what we're going to do today. I think I might actually have to seal the paint. It is like, the lead belcher is great for minis. It's not the thickest paint, and it's not the most durable because it's meant to be adhered to plastic and then never touched again. Because Warhammer people, like a lot of them, like me, probably just live to paint the minis and then never use them on the tabletop, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, most of us are old and we don't have time for that shit. Mero Biba,
you've done it again.
We have more cutting to do, not the least of which is that. This is going to give the motherboard a nice amount of air. We have to cut these. We have to cut those. This is a really, really delicate metal, so I really don't want to screw it up, which is why we're using the table saw today instead of the angle grinder or the Dremel. So without any further ado, you're going to sit through some serious montaging because this is where this is boring. So listen to the montage song. Okay, so I had an idea. And this is just while I was cleaning up a little bit. I got my convention chair going on. And as you can see, I have a guest. I have allowed her back in the production area because she missed you guys. She's so happy. The idea. So this is the fan bracket that I created. It's basically the same thing we did with Venom, except it's a little bit more sturdy because I used longer brackets this time. But as you can see, it's quite unsightly because it's DIY. I did, however, file the screws down in the back, and I basically filed the nuts down a little bit. Basically, that's exactly what I did. I don't know why people say that. Here's the idea. So we still have these. And these, as we discovered in the very first episode, are actually the little panels behind here. These are actually metal, and we used a piece for the front panel. Kind of cool. I was quite pleasantly surprised at that. So I had an idea, seeing as how we have a couple of these lying around. So it's gonna go like this in the case, and it'll just frickin', this piece of wood is bent, but it just stands there. It's good. So here's the fan baffle that I had my friend Minx made. She's awesome, and it goes right here. The fans don't. We'll just go like this. So the fan baffle goes in front like this. And I'm going to move it all the way up to the edge of the case so that the fan baffle is taking only air from the screen in. As this goes to the front of the case, this is a good inch of space underneath the fan baffle. We don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little thing, I'm going to remove it from the spacer, and I'm just going to go ahead and place it right the there. And I'll drill holes in the upper parts for this. So as I put the fans on, you won't see any of that. And I like this so much that I'm going to just keep the rest of these for any future project we have. Because that's fucking cool. It's just so lucky, so lucky. So these are a thing now. And so I think we're going to do something similar to that from now on. And as you can see, I've got a chair down here, and that's because I've got my paints. And so we're gonna do this. So this is sheet steel. This is spare sheet steel we have. I think this was we got this for Astartes, and then we didn't use most of it. So it's sheet steel that I applied some lead belcher to. I applied some lead belcher, and then thanks, Monica. I was so pleased that I remembered that I had this and that this is exactly what she instructed me to do with it. So apart from the lead belcher, which I have two different kinds, this is the airbrush version, and then there's another thicker version. She also suggested that I get iron breaker, which is sort of a metallic. This is more just flat silver, which, as you can see, it has very little sheen to it. But this does not. This is a very metallic paint. And I basically just I didn't dry brush it. I thought I was going to be dry brushing, but I'm not going to. Because I'd have to go like, or just, like that. I don't want to do that. I want to have straight strokes. So I used this brush, and I'm dry brushing with a stroke brush. And I'm just going to try and do it as straight as I can to follow that sort of sheet metal look. And it came out really nice. This is not that. This is Gray Seer. But the iron breaker, that's all down here, and it looks fucking fantastic. So that's what I'm going to do with this, the front panel, which is done, the power supply shroud, which is also done, and then the rest of the case, which is not also done because I still have to cut the left panel. There we go. So you saw me painting this, but I think it's difficult, one, to see what's going on here. You can kind of see what's going on. You can kind of, there you go. It's got a nice sort of bronze look to it. And that's because the paint that I used is this really expensive fucking paint from Michaels that I guess they don't sell. So it was on sale for $10 and it was $32 paint. So this is what it looks like now. And then that's what it looked like before. So very, very bright. And now it looks like sort of an antique aged bronze, which I'm also going to have to cover with some matte. But it looks so fucking cool. Just like my abusive mother used to be. I'm kidding. I love my mother. She was not abusive. Well, the wooden spoon. But I don't consider that abusive. I consider that character building. One thing that is actually sort of giving me an it's okay vibe is, oh fuck, why didn't I think of that? Okay, so here's the thing. We're fine. And that is because this little notch right there, that was my issue. Because it comes to about there. But one thing that I just realized is, one, I have to cut a little notch up in here anyway so it goes flush with this. But also, I'm going to be cutting this part out anyway to run cables. Because of the PC, the chassis cables and the USB hub. So I am now fine with this. I just need to Dremel out a little bit of space and then cut this. Which I'll also use the Dremel for. But we'll worry about that when I'm done eating my food. Black Templar. It's a contrast color, and it will make this look supremely cool. But first thing I have to do is... No, I'm just going to keep it like this. I love how every project that we end up doing ends up turning out different from the last. For this one, I actually will be using the dry brush if I can get it in there. Oh, how the hell did I think of this? And why am I so genius? Why am I so... I had an Invader Zim moment there. So what I did is instead of just, I made twists. It looks so cool and ornate and on purpose. Oh! It's almost what you would see with like a tiny little orbital sander. Oh god, that looks so good. It's almost like what you would see with like an orbital sander polishing wood or something, or aluminum. So they got that sort of circuit pattern, and I have managed to do the same god thing. That looks amazing, and it's already drying on this one, and oh my god! So this is going on. This is the thing we cut off the front panel underneath another piece of polycarb, and I've painted it lead belcher. And so now we're going to take the iron breaker and do the brushed steel look on this thing. Just very, very light stroking. Very light stroking, just enough so the oh god, that looks good. Onto the power supply shroud. Oh yeah! And just for consistency's sake, I will be painting this side of it, even though I don't need to, because you're not going to see it. And also there's going to be rubber pads right here for the power supply, so as not to fucking scratch. If you fucking scratch this thing, I will have your head, Lucas. Always got to go in the same direction. This isn't like This isn't like slap chopping a Space Marine. This has to be uniform across the whole thing. And you can see, like, I've screwed up in a couple of places, but you can see the general look. Oh yeah. When that dries, it looks really, really good. The Iron Breaker against the Lead Belcher, it's just... And this, here's the thing. I was literally dreaming. I lose sleep over my builds. I think about them all the time. So when I'm in it like I am now, it will take me an hour and a half to get to sleep because my mind is constantly running ideas. One of the ideas that I had before I even realized that I had this paint was over the Lead Belcher, use a slightly brighter shade of Lead Belcher. I was going to add just a tiny bit of Gray Seer to it. But it turns out I don't have to because I got the Iron Breaker. And I'm quite happy about that. Straight strokes. And I even like the fact that like the corners and stuff, all the jagged edges are sort of kind of showing a little bit more paint because it adds to the aged brushed steel look. Oh god, that looks so good. Oh god! Now, I love the fact that like the stuff that really sets it off, it doesn't take too long. It just requires a bit of imagination. I was watching a video today. This guy, I think his name's Sean Collier. He's a composer, and I saw a video of him creating music with the crowd, and it damn near brought tears to my eyes because it reminded me, Evie has said a lot that she doesn't have a good singing voice, and I've always been one of the biggest detractors to that. I don't mean attract. I've always been one of the biggest detractors to that particular opinion of anybody, because I saw what could only be construed as a miracle in a place. A miracle in a moment, as I'm calling it. This guy, before he even got on the piano, he had different sections of the audience go, oh, and every single fucking one of them were fucking singing. And this is just one of those things where I'm going to tell you, this is your life lesson for the day. Don't ever think you can't do something. This is not something, I'm 47. I'm going to be 48 in September 2026. This is not something I ever got into, really. Like, I was in art class and, other stuff. But apart from, because I got into, book nooks and stuff after we started building the computers. But before that, I didn't know how to use an angle grinder. I didn't know how to use a Dremel, really. I had no idea how to use a plasma cutter. And I didn't know how to paint shit. This is all just out of nothing came this. Just like musical ability. Out of nothing becomes a result. And all you have to do is try. Because if you look at something as daunting as a computer build, and you say you can't do it, remember that just 7 years ago, because it was 2019 when we started, 7 years ago I had no idea how to do most of this stuff. So don't ever tell yourself that you can't do something. Don't ever tell yourself you can't do something. Singing, painting, carpentry, what the ever. Everyone has a mind for miracles. And rant. Oh, you can't fucking see that, but that looks fucking good! Gah! Oh my fucking god, that looks so good. Oh my god, that looks so good. Oh. Oh my god. Yes! She's been a good kitty today. She's exploring. She doesn't get to do this anymore. Okay, so doing the same thing. And just for shits and giggles, I'm also going to do the sides and the bottom. Because I'm obsessive about this build. Oh yeah, God, this looks so good, people. Cool. And then eventually, I can still see what's going on in here. These are both USB 3.0 ports, but I can still see that this is the microphone jack and this is the headphone jack, so I'll be painting that back on there. Cool. Ta-da! Not bad if I do say so myself. I think that's where we're going to end it today. I've gotten a lot done. Matter of fact, you can notice that it's a different shirt. That's because this has been over the course of, I think, 2 or 3 days. We got a shitload done. Got a shitload more to do, but I've got time, and I might actually get to some stuff that I didn't think I'd have time for. So, thanks for watching. Lotus says thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.